After hundreds of hours in American Truck Simulator, something strange starts to happen. The game you once played for 3 or 4 hours straight eventually becomes a short session. That excitement you once felt slowly fades away and you become, well, bored. It can be a little scary when the game you love starts feeling that way. And whether that's because of how ATS is designed, maybe because the game is 10 years old, or for thousands of other reasons, every longtime player will eventually face this roadblock. But what if I told you it doesn't have to stay that way? What if the reason you are bored isn't the game itself, but how you decide to play it? The truth is, ATS players eventually face the same thing real truckers do every day: monotony. No matter how much you love something, do it for long enough and it starts feeling normal. The excitement fades, the dopamine hits get smaller and smaller, and suddenly you end up stuck in a main menu, looking at the job market, considering if you should even start another drive. You browse through hundreds of jobs and none of them is good enough anymore. You go look for a new truck. You have millions in your bank and yet no truck feels like home anymore. Sometimes a big SCS update drops or a new DLC, pulling you back in for a while. But that doesn't last long and you find yourself back at a strange feeling, like you finally lost your purpose in the game. Now, if that made you a little nostalgic or even a bit sad, I am sorry, but here's the good news: you don't have to wait for the game to give you purpose again. You can build it yourself, and that's exactly what I do whenever ATS starts feeling a bit bland. Recently, I've been obsessed with the Pacific Northwest vibe: rainy roads, dense forests, you know what I mean. And it's not like I can travel there anytime soon, but luckily for me, I am an ATS player. So today, we're going to build an experience around that idea. Let's call it Pacific Northwest Nostalgia. And at the end, you can decide if we actually pulled it off. Whenever I do this, I start with one simple thing: an idea based on my mood. And once I know the feeling that I'm chasing, the rest becomes surprisingly easy. So let's start building. First, the map. Now, I didn't want to just fast travel to Oregon or Washington again. I've driven those roads hundreds of times already. So after a few minutes of research, I found something that could work. Grand Utopia of America. It's a standalone one-on-one scaled map, and since it has a great coastal road, it's perfect for what I'm trying to achieve. Because it's a standalone map, you'll need to start a new profile and select the map module when creating it. So, new profile, select the mods, select the map module, start your game, and this is pretty much the base of your world. Second in line comes the truck. Since this build is about nostalgia, a brand new truck didn't really feel right, so I picked something older that matches the mood. This part is personal, so everybody can just choose from their own collection of truck mods. I know you guys have free ones, you have paid ones. Pick something that fits the experience you're trying to create. Then let's talk about the graphics and the atmosphere. American Truck Simulator already looks great, but with the right graphic mods you can completely change the mood of your world. And I think I found just the right ones for this experiment. This was easy enough since it's what I mostly use anyway. So for this build, I'm using the PNG graphics, along with the Snowy Moon plugin to improve the lighting and anti-aliasing. So at this point, with the core elements in place, I'd like to run a quick test. Usually it's just a tutorial job that you need to do when you start a new profile. And I'm checking if anything feels off, make sure the load order works properly. And while doing so, I felt like it was not gloomy enough. So I went back and I added Weather 3.5 4K, which is a free mod on the Steam Workshop, with a high density fog add-on. A few other smaller mods for immersion, and once everything was in place, it was time to enjoy the world I built. You be the judge if we actually pull this off. And just like that, at least to me, the game feels different again. The same simulator, the same mechanics, but a completely different experience because I am not playing where I can, but where I want to. And that's the interesting thing about ATS. The boredom will come knocking no matter what. Sure, more immersive gameplay mechanics could make our life a lot easier, and I hope one day SCS will work towards that. But as players, we have something real truckers don't: the freedom of choosing how we feel every time we get behind the wheels. And as always, until the next time, stay safe on the road and keep on trucking, even if you have to build it all yourself. Cheers.